Will we ever see? You mentioned a lot of icons, and just that last sentence, you talked about Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, you talked about Bryan-Michael Cox, you talked
Legends.
about Babyface. Will we
Legends.
ever see those levels of producers, songwriters again? Will they? Do they exist now? We just don't see them, or will we ever see them again?
This is a hot take, but in the current status of the music industry, no, because it doesn't breed them. Like the industry breeded, and I'm sure these guys can attest to this, but Jam and Lewis and LA and Babyface and Bryan-Michael Cox and Gamble and Huff and the Funk Brothers and all these producers.
Even Dallas Austin.
Like they were all breeded in this business that we're in. There was all a whole ecosystem where everybody shared information and everybody taught one another.
Well, and that's also a time in the music industry when they were doing this thing called artist development. You know, the labels would take you on as an artist, and they would also invest into you as an artist, teaching you how to be media trained, teaching you how to go to the studio, songwriting sessions, just really digging into the artist to get as much out of an artist as they could. But nowadays, they don't do that. Nowadays, if you got a lot of followers and a hit record, you can probably get a record deal.
This day and age, a producer now is somebody in a bathroom that just happened to find, a digital audio workstation, spent a couple $100, did a couple of bing pong, bing pong, bing pong, and then happened to catch a wave. And that's it. And that's all they know, because they weren't really placed in the realm of all of these other music makers, not beat makers. Because there's a difference between someone who makes a beat and someone who creates a body of work or a composition. There are differences. And again, this is me saying this at the risk of sounding like I'm a hater, but I'm not. I really am not. If anything, I'm a bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Like it's like I've dedicated my life to this business. Music is my life. Yeah. So when I see something going awry, I can't help but to have something to say about it, because I don't want it to fall off. I don't want these kids to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that there's more information thrown at them than there is wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are telling these kids how to be famous, how to make a beat, how to do this and that, and that's fine. But no one's teaching them how to continue to do it. And that's the difference.
Well, you got two guys on your shirt that did a pretty good job at it. You got Freddie Mercury there.
Yeah.
You got the Shawn special going on there.
Yeah.
MJ.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Michael Jordan. Talking about Michael Jackson.
Oh, no, go.
Obviously, R.I.P. to Quincy Jones, who
R.I.P.
just
to
passed
Quincy.
away. Another, obviously, like you said, a composer.
Yeah, a composer.
This is when musicians, if you guys don't know, when they would record albums, when they would record these beats, and they would use live instruments.
Yeah.
You would go in there and there'd be real guitars and real keys and real drums. And now it's all done through a computer.
And hey, not hating.
It don't sound the same though.
It doesn't sound, because it's something about the human touch that kind of adds to a drum beat. And even the OG producers like Alchemist and Ninth Wonder and those guys, like they know how to make a drum loop sound human.
Yeah.
One, because of the devices that they use, their feel, obviously their minds, but it still has somewhat of an analog, organic feel to their production.
Yeah.
And again, it's because of the fact that they were also, bred into this music industry, which makes them sound the way that they do. That's why it sounds so organic.
And I 100% agree. Now, in terms of beat makers and producers, he does have a point. Right now, the barrier of entry to get into making music is super low. It's not like it was when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, it was very, very expensive to get a song recorded. Like I remember the first studio session that I went to, and the only reason we got that studio session was because we knew somebody who had a studio, and we were able to get a little discount, and I was able to go in there and record. First time I was ever in a studio, it was like being in a spaceship. Like, dog, like all these buttons and all this stuff. It was crazy. But like I said, the barrier of entry now, you don't need all that. All you need is a laptop. Y'all see this right here? An audio interface and a microphone. Pretty much you can use a mic like this pretty much, and you can record. And on the back end, you just make sure you clean up with the engineering and stuff like that. But the barrier entry is low, so it's not this club of people who put countless hours in of work and dedication and time and effort. It's really anybody that just want to get on the mic and just say whatever. And of course that dilutes the product, which makes people not value the product like they did back in the day. Now, while that has its bad and its good, I think it's good because, like I said, it's a lot of talented kids out there, and a lot of people just simply cannot afford to go to a studio. I know people who record whole songs on BandLab off an iPhone and a iPhone mic. You get what I'm saying? So any way that you can create, you got to do that. But he does have a point in terms of music just not sounding the same. Back then, music had this warm feeling to it, this warmth, and maybe it's that analog sound, especially in terms of like R&B records back in the 90s. They all had that sound, and even now to this day, like we still are chasing that sound that they were making in the 90s, whether it's sampling or just completely mimicking the 90s sound. It was different back then, and naturally things are just going to evolve because that's just the way it is. Now, the producer and the beat maker, when you're a producer, you're actually in there producing the record. You're helping the artist write the record. You're giving input on the ideas. You might even be engineering. You're completely building that record from top to bottom, which why I would consider myself a producer, because I've done that before. I have experience in that area, whether it's writing a song, mixing a song, going through and making sure that everything is cohesive. When you're producing a record, you're doing more than just sitting there making a beat, making a melody, and just shipping it off. Producing is a skill, and that's a skill that you have to work on. Honestly, you never stop working on it. It's a skill that's continually being improved on every time you do it. Whereas a beat maker, y'all know how easy it is to make beats nowadays. Let me tell you how easy it is. You don't even have to know how to make beats nowadays. All you need is a good MIDI kit. Get you a good sound kit, and you can just drag and drop the midis into the DAW, whatever DAW you're using, and boom, you got a beat right there. You know what I mean? So it's completely different. And like with anything, when the doors open up and everybody can get in, that's gonna make it 100% harder to get on. Now, in terms of artist development nowadays, record labels, at least I don't think they do that anymore. In the 90s, that was a big thing, like A&D, like artist development. You gotta, build your artists up. Nowadays, bro, all you need is a good following, maybe a semi-hot record because they can push it, and you pretty much good from there. Because with streaming and how streaming numbers are counted nowadays, record labels don't have the time to sit up and invest all of this money into an artist, because what's the guarantee that if we invest $1 million into you that we gonna make 3 million back? We all know how that go in the music industry. It's a business at the end of the day, and they in the business of making money. So it sucks that artist development isn't there like it is, but that's the reason that we don't have these legendary people around like he was naming off. We don't have these people who were built up through the industry and who were taught by the OGs. Nowadays, the information is just out there and everybody's putting their own spin on it. That can be good, that can be bad. And we haven't even gotten to the future of making music, because what about AI? Y'all know it's programs out there that can literally just make you a beat. So you don't even have to do the MIDI stuff no more. You can tell AI, say, look, I want a down south beat, 130 BPM, this type of moody melody, give me that. And you'll have an AI program that'll actually spit out the beat for you. So it's uncharted territory. But like he said, and I truly believe this, nothing in the world can replace or beat the human touch when it comes to music. But yeah, man, it's the Kid Ríez. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all be safe, stay carefree, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.